The truth is this: most people do not lose money in the stock market. They lose years because they never start. Hello everyone and welcome to Wealthy Life with Antoaneta. This is a channel for people who want clarity. No noise, no fast promises, but calm, long-term decisions about money, life, and of course, investing. Today, we will talk specifically about stock market investing. For beginners, yes, in a simple way, without complicated words. And this is important. It's important for all beginners. And if you stay till the end of this video, I'll give you a bonus. I'll share one simple question that every beginner investor should ask before buying their first stock or index fund or anything, before the first things to invest on the stock market. Now, firstly, I really want to clarify something very important. This video is not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not promising quick wealth. I'm sharing my personal life, my business, and investment experience. Each of you makes your own decision and takes responsibility for the decisions. Yes. Now, who I am and why this topic matters for me. I didn't start as an investor. I started as a working person with a business, with responsibilities, with a daughter. For a long time, I thought the stock market was for other people, for richer people, for smarter people, people with more time. It turned out not to be true. Yes, it turned out that investing is not about IQ. It is about patience, discipline, and of course understanding structure. That is why this topic is so important today, especially of course here in UK and in my own country, but everywhere, because inflation works against us. Money in the bank loses value, and the stock market is one of the few tools that works in favor of the patient. Now, why people are afraid of the stock market? Let us be honest. People are afraid of the stock market for three reasons. First, fear or loss. They have seen the news. They have heard stories. Second, confusion. Too much information. Too many options. And third, they think they need to know everything before they start. The truth is, nobody knows everything. I don't know anything either, but I know one thing: time in the market is more important than the perfect moment. What it really means to invest in stocks. Let us clear up one very important misunderstanding first. Yes, when you buy a stock, you are not buying a number on a screen. You are not buying a green or red arrow. You are not buying a headline. You are buying a part of a real business, a real company with real people, with real products, with real customers, with real income and real expenses. Long-term investing means choosing companies that you believe will still exist in 10 years. Not buying and selling every day. We are not traders, but allowing time and compound interest to work for you, to work for us. How to think about stock in a simple way, human way. Imagine a friend of yours own a business, a small company. Customers come in, they pay their expenses, of course. There is a profit. If they ask you, would you like to buy 1% of this business and receive part of the profit every year? That's exactly what you are doing when you buy a stock on the market. Only the business is much bigger than your friend's business, more structured, more transparent. Why people make mistakes right here? Most beginners see stocks as a casino because that is how they were taught. Up today, down tomorrow, news, emotions. But a real investor doesn't start with the price, they start with the business. What a long-term investor looks at. When I look at a company, I do not ask, will go up tomorrow? I ask, will this business exist in 5, 10, 15 years? Will people still need what this company offers? Will they continue to pay for it? Is there a real product or just a promise? The difference between investing and trading is very important. I started with trading, so definitely no for me. Investing is not trading. Trading is a short term. Investing is a long term. Trading requires time, nerves, and staring at screens all day. Investing requires patience and discipline. I do not sit all day watching charts. I have a businesses. I have a life. My investments need to work quietly in the background. Why time is the most important factor? One of the most misunderstood things is this. People look for the perfect price. But the truth is, the right time is more important than the perfect price. The earlier you start, the more time you give your money to work. Compound interest is not magic. It is simply time plus consistency. What long-term thinking looks like? A long-term investor thinks like this. I do not care what happens this month. I care where I'll be in 10 years, 15 years, or 5 years. When the market falls, they do not panic. They understand that businesses move in cycles. The economy breathes up and down. Why market drops are not the enemy. This is very important for beginners. The market will fall, guaranteed. And that is not the problem. The problem is if you are not mentally prepared for this. If you invest money, you will panic. If you invest with a long-term plan, you will survive. Investing is not an emotional decision. The worst decisions in the market are made from emotions, fear, greed, comparison. This is why I always say, invest calmly, invest regularly, invest in what you understand. A small but very important rule, you do not need to start with a lot, but you do need to start now. Most people wait to feel confident, but confidence comes after action, not before. Ask yourself the right questions. Before you buy a stock, ask yourself, do you understand how this business makes money? Would I hold this stock if the market was closed for 5 years? Do I feel calm with this decision? If the answer is no, simply do not buy. Investing is identity. At some point, investing stops being something you do and it becomes part of who you are. It's happened with me. You are not longer someone waiting for a salary. You are someone building assets. And here is the most important part. Investing does not start in the market. It starts here with you. With your mindset, with your patience, with the way you make decisions. And now I'll share how I started, without confidence, without certainty, but with a big decision. This is my personal investment story, and I would like to share it with you. My first investment were not brave at all. They were very small and they were scary, but they were consistent. I didn't start with a big sum. I started only with £10 in 2000. I started with a habit. Over time, I realized that investing does not change your life in 1 year, but it can completely change it in 10, 20, 30 years. And I'd like to share with you key lessons for beginners. Lesson number 1, do not invest money you need. Lesson number 2, start simple. Lesson number 3, do not compare yourself to others. Lesson number 4, the market falls. That is normal. Number 5, patience is an asset, not a weakness. These are not rules from a book. These are lessons from real life. Yes, these are my rules. This is my lessons from my real life. Think about this. Where are you today? In the thinking stage or in the action stage? What is stopping you? Fear or lack of clarity? And if this video was helpful, like it, subscribe to the channel, and write in the comments, what is your biggest concern when you think about the stock market? This is really important, because if you know your biggest concern, then you will start now. And again, this is not a financial advice. I am sharing my own personal experience on the stock market and perspective. Each of you makes your own decisions. Firstly, I would like as well to thank you for being with me. Thank you for listening to my story. And yes, comment down below and let me know. Are you a beginner? Are you afraid of the stock market? Because investing is not for the bravest. It's for the most consistent. What are you most afraid of when you think about the stock market? Yes, thank you for being with me, and I'll see you soon.